Sairam students, and welcome back in the session. Today we'll continue with our chapter from Moments. This chapter 6, Weathering the Storm in Arsama, written by Harsh Mandar. So before we continue, let's do a quick recap. The story is related to the super cyclone that hit Orissa in October 1999. Thousands of people were killed and hundreds of villages were devastated. Prashant had gone to visit his friend at Arsama. Cyclonic storm hit Arsama that evening. He was stranded with his friend's family on the rooftop. He sees that everything is destroyed and there is water everywhere. He gets worried about the well-being of his family. He boldly decides to go back to his village. So now let's continue with our lesson. We saw that now he has reached his village and he is searching for his family. He had approached the Red Cross shelter home to search for his family. Now let's see whether he found. Among the first people he saw in the crowd was his maternal grandmother. Weak with hunger, she rushed to him, her hands outstretched, her eyes brimming. So when he was looking out for his family, the first person he saw was his maternal grandmother, mother's mother. Okay, so she was really weak with hunger and she rushed to him. She hugged him, outstretched her hands, wanted to be very close to him, her eyes brimming. Seeing him, she was really glad. It was a miracle. They had long given him up for dead. Now here the family thought that Prashant was not to be found. He is no more because the cyclone had hit Arsama and he was out there. So it was kind of a miracle that he had come back to them, and he too was very happy to see his grandmother. Quickly word spread and his extended family gathered around him and hugged him tight in relief. Prashant anxiously scanned the motley battered group. So they all his family members quickly gathered around him and hugged him because they heaved a sigh of relief that he is back, because they had thought that he will not be back, he is no more, as the cyclone had struck Arsama in a very bad manner. So he was also really anxious, seeing the family, seeing the group and their love that poured in at that particular time. His brother and sister, his uncle and aunts, they all seemed to be there. So everybody was around him, his sister, brother, his uncles, aunts, all were really happy to see him back, see Prashant back. By the next morning, as he took in the desperate situation in the shelter, he decided to get a grip over himself. So that particular day he was a little anxious. However, by next morning, when he saw the situation of the shelter, he saw the condition out there, he decided that he should have some control over himself. He should control himself and his emotions. He sensed a deathly grief settling upon the 2,500 strong crowd in the shelter. 86 lives were lost in the village. All the 96 houses had been washed away. It was their 4th day at the shelter. So at the Red Cross shelter, he saw that almost 2,500 people were out there. Almost 86 people had lost their lives in that particular village. and all the 96 houses that were present in the village were washed away because of the flood and the cyclone. So it was their fourth day at the shelter. So he decided, he was finding that there was kind of grief settling on that on the people of that village. So far they had survived on green coconuts, but there were too few to go around such a tumult of people. So many days they were just surviving on coconuts, but not many were remaining to feed so many people. A crowd of people, around 2,500 people who were there in the shelter. Prashant, all of 19 years, decided to step in as the leader of his village if no one else did. So this young boy of 19 years, that is Prashant, he decided that if nobody else comes out to help these people, he would become the leader and help these people come out of this grief. So he decided to become the leader if no one else came down. He organized a group of youths and elders to jointly pressurize the merchant once again to part with his rice. This time the delegation succeeded and returned triumphantly, wading through the receding waters with food for the entire shelter. So he motivated the youth and elders to go and pressurize the merchants who had stocked rice in their godowns probably. So they decided to go and pressurize the merchant to give them some rice. And the delegation, the group, returned triumphantly. They were victorious. They waded through the waters and brought food for the entire shelter. That is all the people. They brought food for the people. No one cared that the rice was already rotting. Branches from fallen trees were gathered to light a reluctant and slow fire on which to cook the rice. For the first time in 4 days, the survivors at the cyclone shelter were able to fill their bellies. So just stocking the rice, it was almost getting rotten. Okay, but nobody was worried. However, these youth, they brought it from the merchant and decided to feed all these people in the shelter home. They broke down the branches and from the trees that were fallen off, they lighted a fire and decided to cook the rice. So in 4 days, after almost 4 days, these survivors would be able to fill their stomachs. They would get some food to eat. His next task was to organize a team of youth volunteers to clean the shelter of filth, urine, vomit and floating carcasses, and to tend to the wounds and fractures of many who had been injured. So now once he got food for the people, they were really happy. Now his task was to clean up the entire place, the entire shelter, because the shelter was filled with filth, that is dirt. There was urine all around. There was people who had vomited out, everything lying there, floating carcasses of human bodies, of animals, dead animals around, so which could lead to a lot of infections. Also, he decided to tend to the wounds, help the people who are wounded and with some fractures, to help these people who are injured. So he decided to organize a team of youth to do all this kind of social work. On the 5th day, a military helicopter flew over the shelter and dropped some food parcels. It then did not return. The youth task force gathered empty vessels, utensils from the shelter. So now there was a military helicopter which flew across, and they dropped some parcels, as it is done generally. It did not return. That was the only time it came and dropped these food parcels. So the youth task force gathered all empty vessels, utensils from the shelter, and tried to fill in all these food that was provided. Then they deputed the children to lie in the sand left by the waters around the shelter with these utensils on their stomachs, to communicate to the passing helicopters that they were hungry. Now, because the military helicopters did not return, because that food wasn't sufficient for so many, so what they decided, they took out these empty utensils. They asked the children to lie on the sand which was left by the waters, okay, and hold the utensils on their stomach to communicate to the passing helicopter that they were hungry. So they could see the reflection. These utensils provided some kind of a shine so that the helicopters would come back and provide them with more food. The message got through, and after that the helicopter made regular rounds of the shelter, airdropping food and other basic needs. So the message was sent through, they got the message, and on a regular basis the helicopter used to make rounds of these shelter homes, drop food down and other basic needs, whatever was needed by the people. Prashant found that a large number of children had been orphaned. Orphan means their children had lost their parents. He found that there were a lot of children who were orphaned. He brought them together and put up a polythene sheet shelter for them. Women were mobilized to look after them, while the men secured food and materials for the shelter. So he made a huge shelter, a polythene sheet shelter for them, kind of a pandal that you can say for them, where he asked the women folk to look after these children and asked the men folk to go and secure food and other materials for the shelter. As the weeks passed, Prashant was quick to recognize that the women and children were sinking deeper and deeper in their grief. He persuaded the women to start working in the Food for Work program started by an NGO, and for the children he organized sports events. So as the days, the weeks passed, Prashant noticed that it was the women and children who were really grief-stricken. They were not able to come out of their situation. They were very much in grief. So he persuaded these women to start working. So if when they work for the NGO. It is a program started by an NGO, that is Food for Work. So they work, they earn something, they get food. And also he organized lot of sports events for the children to keep them busy, so that these women and children do not have time to think about what had happened in the past. So he made them really busy. He himself loved to play cricket, and so he organized cricket matches for children. Prashant engaged with other volunteers in helping the widows and children to pick up the broken pieces of their lives. So he himself enjoyed cricket, so he used to organize matches, cricket matches for children. So on the whole, he engaged, along with his volunteers, he engaged most of these women and children so that they come out of this grief and this situation and try to live their life. The initial government plan was to set up institutions for orphans and widows. However, this step was successfully resisted as it was felt that in such institutions, children would grow up without love and widows would suffer from stigma and loneliness. So there was this kind of initial government plan where they would make some kind of an institution where orphans and widows would stay. Widows are who have lost their husbands. However, this was resisted because it was felt that here children would just grow up without any kind of love, and the widows would feel really lonely and they would be uh, having lot of issues related to stigma from the society. Prashant's group believed orphans should be resettled in their own community itself, possibly in new foster families made up of childless widows and children without adult care. So he and his group of volunteers, they believed that they should be settling in the same community. The orphans should have new foster homes, means other home, not their own family, foster families which are made up of childless widows. So widows or women who don't have children, you give them these orphan children, they would take care of them, and children without any adult care. So he decided that the widows would take care of the orphans, in short. It is 6 months after the devastation of the super cyclone. This time, Prashant's wounded spirit has healed simply because he had no time to bother about his own pain. So it was 6 months now. He's been working for the society, trying to uplift his own village, trying to help the women, the orphans, set up their own family, help the widows come off and make their lives busy. However, he was unaware of his pain. He was not bothered about what pain he has undergone. So now it was time. He was trying to heal because he had no time to bother about his own pain. He was so busy in doing social work. His handsome, youthful face is what the widows and orphaned children of his village seek out most in their darkest hour of grief. So it is his face that comes to their mind. The widows and the orphans really appreciate him, praise him for whatever work he has done, and seek out his help whenever they are in need. Whenever they have some problem, they approach Prashant because he's the one who had brought them out of this particular situation which they had faced. Otherwise, they would have lost their lives. They would have not done anything with their lives. So they really appreciate his work. So we see that such a young boy of 19, how he helped the entire village. He uplifted the entire village. So this is written by Harsh Mandar. This is a story. So I hope you've understood, students. Now let's see what message we get from this particular lesson. It conveys the message that when a natural calamity strikes, the members of the community should help themselves. They should not totally depend on the government to provide help. The youth have to play a major role in organizing the community to help themselves. The youth should provide a leadership role to solve the problems of the common people, as we saw Prashant do during the super cyclone. So we need to motivate the youth to help and come out and take a major role in helping the people, helping the society at large. We need to motivate them so that they are able to understand the problems faced by the people around and help them out, as we saw Prashant. So this is the message we get. Now we'll just go through the value points, the main points of this particular chapter. You can make a note of these points in your notebook. Just go through them so that you will understand the lesson well. So what this is about, okay, how Prashant, what he did, how he reached his village, what happened when he visited his friends, when he reached his village, crossing all the hurdles around, what had happened, what destruction he viewed, the things he witnessed on his way back, and how he becomes the leader of his village and forms a group of volunteers and who help the entire village to get uplifted, how the orphans were given shelter and handed over to childless widows, what kind of help, care he gave to the people. So all this is mentioned in the lesson. He also helped the women who joined the NGO and took up the Food for Work program. So here we see Prashant's courage that teaches us to be really bold. I hope students you have understood the lesson.